and just real quick to say this, because this is important. I didn't let any kids sway me, and you let them sway you, where I start making these side agreements and promises. Hey, Drew, let me work on your mom. Like, we don't do that stuff ever. I think that creates so much potential for damage within relationships, and it undermines leadership, right? But you and I are a team. And so when Drew's like, can we do this? Can we do this? I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I have to talk to your mom about this, and we'll just see. I'll let you know after I talk to your mom, because we're going to be unified about this.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Okay, continuing today with our conversation that you and I started in the last podcast about the thought process of not living through our kids to accomplish maybe sporting goals that we didn't accomplish as children.
Sure.
And I think it's such an important point because you were on such a roll there for a minute. I don't know if you want to finish for a minute before I chat, but go ahead. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying it's a decision in our household. And, you know, I just want to be clear to whoever's listening to this. We're not trying to say that the way we make decisions about any of these things are how everybody needs to make them.
No.
What we're really trying to get across, and hopefully people can see this, is that, and hear this, I should say, is that you just got to have a philosophy. You got to have something you guys and your family really, really have thought through. And now it can help guide this season of your life. So that way it doesn't add all this different level of anxiety. Because I see so many people frazzled, you know, everywhere we go, and they're trying so hard to almost like, I don't know, they have an expectation built up within themselves that they got from wherever. Maybe it's from peers, maybe it's just from, you know, people around you, whatever. And it's like, they don't seem like they can ever do enough. And they look like they're guilty all the time, and they're exhausted. And their kids aren't really appreciative, it doesn't seem like, you know, and so they almost get a little entitled. And for us, we just decided a while ago that, you know, our family, a part of our family's destiny is to be together and to do big, purposeful, important things of serving other people. I was just actually reminding myself of our part of our definiteness of purpose that we have in Team Francis's life. And for us, you know, I was just writing down a statement that I remind myself of all the time. We lead hungry people into purposeful wealth creation and strategic family success. Not one or the other. And we don't lead lazy people. We lead hungry people. And this is what we do. And that turns into, if you look at all of our endeavors, whether it's this podcast, whether it's our different businesses that we have, they all have something to do with that. It took us a while to figure that out, but it's who we are. And so once we figure it out, everything revolves around that. So then you break it down into, okay, how does sports fit into that then? You know, well, this is a season that's intended to be super duper fun. And, but I know what we're ultimately going to be doing. We're going to be doing a lot of different bigger picture things than just sports, right?
Right. And I think with that for our family, because, you know, again, we learned kind of the hard way at first is putting our kids in a bunch of stuff and being super busy and them not being all that excited about it. And we thought they should be excited about it. And then we didn't feel appreciated.
Yeah, like 5-year-old soccer and stuff like that. And they're, you know, Drew's just chasing around butterflies off the field. And we're like, gosh, I don't even know if he has any athletic desire. But when you only have a 5-year-old, you know, the twins, like, you don't know. I remember, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I literally will hear parents that have kids at a young age, and they're like, I don't know if he's got it. And I'm like, yeah, he's like 6. I'd give it a few years. And I try to explain to them, my son didn't really even get a real desire to actually try to be competitive until he was probably like 9. You know, so
right, yeah, I get it. And honestly, it's funny you brought that up because I see a lot of people that even at 2, 3, 4, or whatever, they're like, "Oh, sorry, they just don't really have athletic. We don't have athletic. They're not going to be athletic." And I'm like, I wouldn't speak that stuff. Number one,
yeah,
and number two, give them a little chance because they're just trying to find their footing right now, and like might want to give them a second.
Well, and that's the time too, like in soccer and stuff, when they're like 5 years old, you always get the weird soccer coach who's trying to teach them like college level strategies,
They're all excited
to
about
be
it.
in this zone and don't leave your zone. And so our kids are like standing over in the corner of the field and the ball goes zipping by them, but it's not in their zone,
field.
quote unquote. And so they just stand there and I'm like, go get the ball. And they're like, Dad, we can't leave the zone.
I know. I remember literally sitting on the sidelines and I'm like, go get we're screaming because you and I, don't play soccer. So we really don't know how it works.
No.
You know what I mean?
I just know you got to kick the ball in the goal.
Right.
And when you're that age, just go get it.
And they're like, we can't leave. I'm like, go leave. We're losing.
Oh, yeah.
And they, anyways, moving on.
It's bringing back some flashbacks.
I know. I'm starting to just, okay. Anyway, I'm losing my voice thinking about it.
Got a little twitch going over there.
I did. I have to stop.
A little PTSD from
I just got to stop.
from youth
See,
soccer.
now you're bringing it on. Why are you going there? You know what I mean?
That's why we don't play soccer. So
anyway, so we're moving on. So again, we were talking about how to prioritize, the importance for us and our family, which again, our big picture is that we have big goals that we feel like God has put on our heart to go out there and accomplish his kingdom at the biggest level ever. And with that, sports is like an area that we get to enjoy and play at excellence because that's what God asks us to do, is do everything at excellence, right? But not to do it to the point where it's like we are pressuring our kids to be something they don't want to be, regardless of how competitive you and I are. Now, we have competitive kids. I mean, like, I don't know that, I always joke all the time. I don't really think it was in our genes to not have competitive kids. Greg and I just can't even help it. You know what I mean?
But I will tell you though, like I do think a lot of their competitiveness comes from us giving them opportunity but not pressure. I really do, because I think that if we were trying to make them be competitive, then sports become less fun. And instead, we're just like, we love watching you play, and hey, you want to get better? Okay, then great. This is the kind of stuff you got to do, but you got to go do it. And we don't pressure, if they don't do it, we don't get mad.
But that came from us doing it wrong at first.
For sure.
That's all I'm trying to explain is like right now we seem calm and laughing about it. But like, I remember we went through a season where we both, again, didn't know if our kids were athletic. We weren't really sure. But the moral of the story is that we were really just frustrated. Like, oh my gosh, they don't seem excited. They don't practice. They're not out there laughing. They're not having fun. They don't have the, like hard grind in them. What's happening to our kids? And we were putting all this pressure on them, trying to do so much. And it dawned on us, like, we aren't helping the situation. We are not helping the situation. Yeah. In fact, we're not having fun watching our kids go. And our kids felt so much pressure. It was like at any point it felt like they were going to cry. Yeah, I mean, and I'm like, this is not it, So I remember us coming home. So parents, if you're sitting here thinking, well, we should evaluate whatever, maybe it's not in sports. It could be in something else. Cause I could bring up multiple things. It
could be in education. It could be in whatever, right?
It could be in like anything. I mean, I remember even talking about it with dance for the kids at one point. Yeah. You know what I mean? With the girls, what's our goal with dance? Because they were getting pressured to be on high level competitive teams.
Sure.
And did that really fit? Or maybe it was gymnastics or, it doesn't have to be just soccer or whatever we're talking about. My point being is you and I came back, and this is where, again, parents coming together to discuss what your ultimate goals are as a family are so important, because we had some good discussions. And after that, we came to the kids and we said, we love you regardless. We want you to enjoy sports. We love sports. Sports is a great place to learn and grow and develop yourself and stretch yourself. And we will support you at whatever level you want. So if you are working really hard and you're showing us that you really want this, we will help get you more coaching, more equipment, more time on the, whatever it is, field, court, whatever it is. You know what I mean? But if you don't want to do that, we're going to love you and come watch you too and have fun.
Yeah.
And once we did that, it allowed our children to make some decisions about how they wanted to participate. And I will tell you, some of the sports that we originally started some of the kids in, they're not doing anymore. I mean, our girls were like really great at dance. They thought at some point they would move on to do higher level dance. They have since then chosen to play tennis and golf. And they are just thriving, choosing what they want. And we're doing great supporting them in that. Yeah. And with Drews, there were so many choices of sports to choose from. For our family, you and I had a good discussion. Again, I just encourage you guys, there are too many good sports to choose from. Drew, our son, just happens to be very athletic. You give him a ball and he can do,
Yeah.
I mean, it could be soccer, baseball, basketball, hockey, you name it, he could do it. And when he was young, if we said, hey, what do you want to play? I mean, the kid would have chosen baseball, hockey, soccer,
Yeah, the
football.
answer was yes.
Right, to all of it. But we sat down and organized ourselves and said, so what sports are we really able to do with him? And for us, some sports were not. We were not able to do what the season would want you, the kind of commitment they would want. We just made a decision. Hey, he's really great at, let's say, baseball. But that is a sport that I guess is pretty intense.
Yeah, that's one of those where you have to travel quite a bit if you want to be competitive. And it's such a commitment, and so we just didn't do it. He probably would be really good at it too, I'm sure. But it didn't fit in to the big picture of what we're doing.
That's right.
And so I get it. I get other baseball families who really love it, and that's great. I'm glad that this is kind of part of how they actually run their family. Like they enjoy chasing down the baseball like life, and that's how they connect with each other. And I'm happy for them.
Oh, yes, I am too.
For us, we just decided that it doesn't fit, and so we do it in other ways.
Yes, and that's how we guided our children to be able to go do certain sports that would work with what we want for our family dynamic, So again, that went back into the big picture. We started with the calendar to see what sports would fit into that.
Yeah.
Like you even mentioned last episode, I mean, cross country was never even on our radar.
Yeah.
But it fit in our schedule. We asked the kids if they wanted to do it, and here they thrived in it.
Right. And the reason it fit was because it was literally 5 minutes up the road. Mm-hmm. It was super simple to do. It wasn't a big commitment, and again, the coach was really flexible. So that's why it fit.
Right. So with that fit in the schedule of our big picture. Yeah. And so I just encourage you, if you're out there thinking, golly, I don't think we really have been organized enough to know what to do big picture, let alone month to month, week to week. My suggestion is you sit down and you discuss it. You know what I mean? And from there, don't apologize for what you can't do. Be excited about what you can do.
Yeah, it's like you literally have to say, okay, all right, big picture philosophy. This is why I know we've probably spoken about this in the past. We have our top 5 and 5. We have our family goals, what we're trying to hit. One of them for us is that our family is closer and more spiritually strong every single year. We also have some financial goals that we want to be able to accomplish. And, these things get put in a priority level. And then after you have that as kind of your guardrails and decision making, now you start going into the year. And then we go into what you said earlier, which is, okay, so what does spring sports mean? Like right now, I feel like we're right about, I literally put it in my calendar this morning when I was taking the twins, that you and I, one of the things we have to talk about is we're going to have the kids look up all of the fall sports, exact dates of when it starts and when it ends, right? Like we're not going to do it. They're going to do it. This is part of what we've learned too. Because otherwise, when you got 5 kids in sports and they're doing multiple sports, we don't want to be the ones looking all this stuff up. So we make them take a little responsibility. You want to play, then you got to come up and show us what's going on. So we come up with, this whole window of, okay, it's going to start the first week in August. It's going to end the last week in September for golf, right? Or cross country is going to be August through mid-September. And then, okay, so what's October and what's November? And, you and I, we've learned by doing these windows of time that there's opportunities to play sports year round constantly. Like right now, we're about to finish up here in the next week and a half with pretty much all the sports that the kids are in right now. And we had a friend ask us, is your son going to do this summer sport, they call it. It's basically the next 2 months until things start in August again. And we just were like, no, actually, we're not. We all need a break. And on top of that, now comes in our other stuff. We want to travel with your parents a little bit. I know we have a conference we have to do. You and I want to do a date night, a couple nights away. And so we get a chance to do these other things, but it makes it easy for us to say no to sports in that window because of how we're planning each couple of months here.
And how we discussed it. So again, you wouldn't just say, hey, why don't we just let him do it? You know what I mean? What's it, 2 more months? And you didn't put me in that awkward position where I have to be like, no, I think we need a break.
And just real quick to say this, because this is important. I didn't let any kids sway me, and you let them sway you, where I start making these side agreements and promises. Hey, Drew, let me work on your mom. We don't do that stuff ever. I think that's so that I think that creates so much potential for damage within relationships, and it undermines leadership, right? But you and I are a team. And so when Drew's is like, can we do this? Can we do this? I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I have to talk to your mom about this, and we'll just see. I'll let you know after I talk to your mom, because we're going to be unified about this.
But one thing that is important with this topic is that, yes, you will tell our kids, I'll talk to your mom, or I'll say, hey, let me talk to dad about this. We'll get back to you. It is never, dad made a decision. We're not doing this.
That's right. We made a decision.
You know, like it's not like, man, mom didn't let you. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like how disrespectful and dishonoring.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I know you wanted to. And by the way, I would have liked you to also.
Right.
But, she just kind of gets a little weird about this stuff. So, like, I see people do that stuff all the time. And it's so undermining.
Well, you lose trust. I mean, like, if you can't talk about something as simple as being on the same page with sports, how do you get on the same page about other stuff?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's good. Again, I think our whole point of this whole thing is organizing yourself for every season of what's going on really matters. Mm-hmm. Because the more you do it, the less stressful you feel. The more you get organized with what you want to accomplish in each season, the better that season will go. And one of the seasons we're moving into next, actually, because we're excited about it, is the whole gardening thing. I'm excited to chat about how you and Abby are working as a team to make this all happen.
Yeah, let's talk about the next one. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening, and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.